much as the Iraqi war is today, where the enemy is pretty much unknown. So today, the American soldier operating in Iraq would basically draw upon the experiences of Vietnam to justify any action he takes.
Well, this prisoner claims to be a member of a company, a battalion, a regiment, the numbers of which sound doubtful to us.
You think he's lying?
Yes, I think he is.
A Viet Cong prisoner had come into the aid station, and this guy was involved in an ambush or something. He was hurt. There was a major, not getting anything out of him, takes a pencil and starts prodding the open wounds to gain information out of him. And I'm new guy in country. I've never seen anything like this in my life, you know? I'm shocked. Nobody said anything. Nobody did anything. I realized then, anything goes. Anything goes. This guy had information that I thought was important. So as a last resort, after we had all taken a shot at the guy and got absolutely nothing out of him, nothing, we decided to use the field phone. We've got his feet in a container of water. The field phone has two clips, you know, positive and a negative. So we clipped one to his ear and one to his testicle or inside of his thigh. I didn't really give a shit. I didn't care. Just hooked the guy up. And we cranked the phone. And the more you crank, the faster you crank, the more electricity it generates. And it was like the guy was having seizures, drooling, you know, it was unpleasant. It was unpleasant. Again, nothing. We got nothing out of this guy.
Unimpressed by the poor results from physical torture, Zagalonis now tried a more psychological method, exploiting his most powerful asset, fear.
People were surprised that dogs were being used in Guantanamo and in Abu Ghraib. I thought it was a great idea myself. What we did is we would tell the Vietnamese that the dog is trained to sense when they're lying. Didn't tell them the dog was going to kill them, didn't threaten them with the dog, just the dog knows when you're lying, so you make sure you tell us the truth. So the dog would raise up and be in this guy's face, you know, just slathering, fangs, you know, wanting to bite his face off. And they're backed up against the wall, and I mean, they would, lose control of their bladder. And in a way, it was funny, but at the time, I wasn't killing the guy and I wasn't hurting him. I was scaring him. So I didn't see anything wrong with it, you know? I mean, this was, again, it was coercion, it wasn't torture.
Cualquier persona puede llegar a torturar.
Anyone can become a torturer. It depends on the circumstances of your country and your own ideas and training. If you're brainwashed, then you're capable of doing it.
The story of Hugo Garcia from Uruguay shows just how easy it is to become a torturer and how difficult it is to stop. The responsibility for his schooling in torture, he claims, lies in the hands of the United States.
The
responsibility of the US is huge. All my superiors were trained in intelligence work and torture at the School of the Americas.
This building is in Fort Gulick, near the Atlantic side of the canal. It's called the School of the Americas, and it has for 20 years been providing courses in Spanish for officers and men of Latin American armies.
In the 1970s, the U.S. Army School of the Americas was located in Panama, where its activities were not subject to United States law.
Torture techniques taught, from rape to derobing to torture with pointed objects, to burning, to breaking of extremities, poking eyes out, branding, just about anything that would be considered bringing a person to the edge where they might say something you want to hear.
In Latin America, there are various regimes which at the moment are abusing human rights. Political murder, torture, deportations, imprisonment without trial, using the techniques they may have learned in this establishment.
You may be right. If you can say that the skills which we've taught here have been applied, I can't deny that.
Todos los que iban al canal, cuando volvían completamente convencidos de que
Whoever went to Panama came back full of conviction, so the doctrine there was very strong and tough.
adoctrinamiento muy férreo también ahí.
The use of torture of a known enemy soldier to gain some kind of military advantage, I think, is justifiable and smart. To go beyond that, to use torture techniques merely to intimidate people is completely wrong, unethical, and immoral.
In the Uruguayan army, Hugo was trained in torture techniques to combat what he was told was a communist threat to his country.
Para llegar a esto de los interrogatorios,
To prepare you to become a torturer, they went through it step by step.
de a poco, ¿no? Paso a paso iban siguiendo. El tipo de tortura que funcionaba más, evidentemente, era eso.
The submarine was the most effective torture, because you feel you're drowning.
Esto le da una sensación como que se está ahogando, ¿verdad?
Otra vez al agua y así
They submerge you into the water again and again. You start to vomit water, and you lose control of your bodily functions. And you end up feeling as if your body had been destroyed.
Así, primero completamente dolorido.
Torture sessions were carried out in an army garage. Music was an integral part of the torture.
Había una canción que se escuchaba.
There was one song that was very popular, Yellow Submarine by the Beatles.
Te hacían llevarlo, los llevamos al lugar donde se iba a
I
interrogar.
put them on a bed
Tú tenías que
and tied
atarlo
them
en
up.
la cama, ¿verdad? Y tenías que estar ahí, tenías que levantar la cama donde
Then we
estaba
lifted the bed up
él o ella, ¿no?
and submerged their heads in water.
Estaba acostado y sumergirlo, ¿no? En el agua, ¿no? Y sacarlo otra vez y todo esto. La tortura es eficaz, se consigue
Torture is effective in getting information,
usando tortura,
whether
¿no?
it's with physical or psychological
Ya sea
torture.
tortura física como psíquica, ¿no?
South American torturers were quite prepared to torture women as well as men.
Eso de que las mujeres aguantan más el dolor, ¿no?
Even the fact that women can withstand torture and interrogation better than men was in our manuals.
Eso estaba inclusive en los manuales. No tenía problemas con eso, con estar ahí, no tenía problemas.
I didn't have a problem being there with all the people screaming and shouting.
Pasar por un sufrimiento, vamos a decir, porque
It was my
tomaba
duty,
esto como,
and I was a
algo-
professional.
Como algo profesional, así, ¿no?
Hugo loyally participated in torture for 3 years. But one day he saw a woman being tortured who was well known to his family. He began to question what he was doing.
Mi prima me explicó de
My
que
cousin told me about Lillian and said she was a good person with her own family.
su familia.
Sentí que él tenía una actitud como diferente conmigo.
I thought he was different to the others.
Tenía una actitud como
He was
más
more friendly,
cordial,
and he wasn't after
más
anything.
amable, pero que tampoco estaba buscando nada.
Personalmente me cambió en el sentido de que
Personally, it changed me,
ya me di cuenta que yo tenía que
because I realized that I had to think for myself.
pensar por mi propia
I could
cuenta
no
y
longer accept everything I was told by my superiors.